Welcome back to another episode of Pangea Island. Today, we will start off this episode with a small Hypsilophodon. It is an ornithopod from England. It appears that it's feasting on this small leaf. However, what it does not know is that as small as it is, it can be prey for even larger killers. It is Bloodsnout, the male Utahraptor. Since he has to keep watch of eggs, he's been hunting small dinosaurs that have been foraging near the nest. He moves in. He has to be very quiet because this animal is very small, meaning that it can run faster distances than this Utahraptor. So he must be as stealthy as he possibly can if he wants to successfully hunt this Hypsilophodon. But the Hypsilophodon notices him, and she quickly runs off. Bloodsnout has successfully hunted down the Hypsilophodon, and he begins to feast on it. He is waiting for the rest of his pack to get back from the hunt, since he has decided that he will watch over the eggs. You can't see the eggs at all because they have perfectly hidden them under the bush. You see the pack returning from the hunt. They realize that this prey that they're hunting is harder for them to get in a pack of 3. They need all 4 members, so they have come back to the nest to pick up Bloodsnout. Bloodsnout is wary of his eggs, but he agrees to go with the Utahraptors on the hunt. Their prey is a young female Stegosaurus. She's alone, which makes her more vulnerable, but they still have to be wary because this Stegosaurus has a set of weapons that can kill any of the Utahraptors. These are Stagomizers. They are long, formidable spikes on the end of the Stegosaurus's tail that are able to break bone to defend itself from any predator. This is what Stegosaurus used to defend itself from predators during the Jurassic period, such as Allosaurus, Torvosaurus, or Ceratosaurus. This is very deadly and can cause any of the Utahraptors a death sentence. Bloodsnout and Swift are supposed to chase the Stegosaurus towards the southern forest. So that way the other two Utahraptors can finish the job, and then these two can help. But right now they must get the Stegosaurus moving. Swift is the first to pounce. But the Stegosaurus is hard to move. She is very defensible. She begins to swing her thagomizers. However, Swift gets too close. The Stegosaurus has hit him with the thagomizers in his thigh. He is injured, but he can still walk, but barely. He pounces once again, even though he has an injury. And this time he goes for the side, trying not to fall off the Stegosaurus once again. Bloodsnout joins in as well. Gets her moving. The two Utahraptors follow right behind her. They chase the Stegosaurus right towards the edge of the forest, right where Ripper and Rose are waiting for her. The Stegosaurus is approaching fast. They must attack now, or they will lose the prey. So they do just that. However, while they are attacking the Stegosaurus, they do not realize that this hunt will be a failure. Because only a few miles away, the sauropod herd is heading straight towards their location. It is too late for the Utahraptors. They know that they cannot kill the Stegosaurus and drag it away just in time, so they must scatter. They quickly scatter away as the sauropods get ready to trample over the Stegosaurus, who's now dying. As the Utahraptors continue to run away, they now realize that they probably won't have another meal for probably the next 6 weeks. They have failed yet another hunt. Meanwhile, here at the northern forest, we see the Ceratopsian herd, except they have teamed up with a few hadrosaurs, an Edmontosaurus, and 2 Parasaurolophus, a male and a female. They're heading towards the forest to feast. Bullhorn gives out a loud roar that tells the herd that they can stop and feed. The two younglings are scared to feed by themselves, so they follow their father to feed. James leads them towards a good spot. The male Pastoralphus begins to feed on the more drier brush. Pastoralphus prefer more drier brush as they are able to get more nutrients from it than more damp brush. However, while the herd is feasting, one of the members, a male Pentaceratops, tries to challenge Bullhorn. He thinks that it is time for a new leader, and that new leader should be him. He lets out a loud roar, trying to get Bullhorn's attention. Bullhorn notices this, and he turns around and roars back. They both begin to paw the ground. The male Pentaceratops begins to shake his frill. This is a sign of display to warn off Bullhorn. However, this does not work, and instead, this encourages Big Bull to challenge him. He is ready to fight, so he paws the ground and steps back to get ready to charge. And so does the male Pentaceratops. The herd backs away. They do not want to be a part of this fight. The Pentaceratops is the first to charge. Bullhorn is next. They begin to push each other with their horns. The Pentaceratops paws the ground, attempting to get more power to push Bullhorn over. He pushes Bullhorn over with 3 strikes. But he is not done so easily. Bullhorn slowly gets up. He shakes his head, trying to get his vision back. Then he looks at his enemy. He charges. He knocks over the Pentaceratops. But he isn't done just yet. The male Pentaceratops gets up. But he sees Bullhorn charging at him too late. He has knocked the Pentaceratops so hard that he is passed out. His two front legs, he holds down the Pentaceratops and bellows to the sky. Bullhorn has banished him from the herd, so the herd begins to move on. The herd follows Bullhorn out of the forest. As the herd begins to march away, James looks back at the Pentaceratops and his nearly lifeless body. He focuses back onto the herd as they begin to move on deeper into the forest. Meanwhile, on the other side of the northern forest, we see a pachycephalosaur feeding. This is Stygimoloch, a pachycephalosaur from the late Cretaceous period. It lived about 75 to 65 million years ago. But is here living on this island today. It appears that he is feeding on these white clovers. However, what this Stygimoloch does not know is that it is about to be prey for another hunter of the north. It is Samuel and his father, Kingston. Kingston is taking Samuel on his first hunt. Samuel is quite thrilled to be out of the nest for once. Although this is his first hunt, he tells him to hide in the bush, as he does not want him getting harmed, just in case another predator stumbles around and sees him. Kingston closes in. He attacks. But the Stygimoloch sees him early, and he quickly runs. He has successfully killed the Stygimoloch. He roars in victory. He calls over his son to come and feast on the Stygimoloch carcass. Samuel immediately begins to feast on the carcass. He was hungry, and he hasn't had anything to eat all day. While Kingston keeps a lookout for predators. A distant roar notifies him. But this roar isn't so distant. This is Spinosaurus aegypticus. It nearly 40 feet long. This is the largest carnivorous dinosaur of all time. But this Spinosaurus is not here to kill him. He's here to take the carcass that they have just killed. It appears that he was hunting the sea mullet too. So he lets out a growl to scare away the T-Rex. But Kingston roars back. The Spinosaurus sees that he won't back down, so he charges. He immediately begins to bite on the jugular of the T-Rex. Samuel must help his father. As small as he is, he thinks he can do something, so he runs in. He bites the Spinosaurus' ankle. The Spinosaurus turns around and looks at what bit his ankle. He sees the baby T-Rex and he gets ready to kill it. But before he can even try to, Kingston has helped his son. He roars, trying to get the Spinosaurus to stand up again. The Spinosaurus gets up and charges once again. Kingston bites on the Spinosaurus' neck, but with more force. This is because the Tyrannosaurus has a stronger bite force than the Spinosaurus, which makes his bite more lethal. The Spinosaurus shakes Kingston off of him, and it gets up. He faces the T-Rex. Kingston gives out a loud roar to warn him away. The Spinosaurus knows better. We will call him Spinus. He quickly walks away. However, this isn't the last we will see of him. Samuel comes out from hiding in the bush. He sees his father. Although injured, he's okay. He nudges Samuel. He comforts him. While the Spinosaurus watches menacingly. Meanwhile, here in the northern scrapland, we see Gray, the Melgorosaurus from episode 2. He has healed plentiful since we've last seen him, but he's been living here in the scraplands ever since. He has gotten back. His leg has healed, but he doesn't necessarily hunt big prey anymore. He hunts small prey, such as small hypsilophodons that come around here every often, or he scavenges. He sniffs the air to find a new carcass to feed on. It is the carcass of a young female baryonyx. He approaches the carcass slowly. He sniffs it. It is fresh. However, there are no blood wounds on it. This means that this baryonyx might have died naturally just a few minutes ago. He begins to feast. Another predator approaches the meal. It is Cody, the male Utyrannus. He approaches slowly because the Gorgosaurus is quite bigger than him, though he is not scared because he thinks that he can share a meal with this Gorgosaurus. Gray spots him and roars. Cody is not scared of him, however, and he roars back. Two sit there and roar at each other for 5 minutes. However, they are not roaring to scare each other off. It appears that they are socializing. It appears that they are trying to make a team together. At least that's what Cody is trying to do. And Grace is agreeing to this, since they are both have no clue on how they're going to survive. They are going to stick together. Cody follows Gray. That these two are sticking together, they can now finally go to better ground to hunt. And they are heading towards the northern plains. This is a vast area where most herbivores that live here on the northern side of the island come to feast and to socialize. It is the perfect hunting grounds for many carnivores. They're going here to hunt many types of prey. They can do so now that they have created a team or a duo. As they enter the plains, they immediately begin to search for food to hunt. Cody sniffs the air, but there's nothing. The herbivores know that carnivores hunt here, so they have retreated into the forest. Nonetheless, they still stick together for survival. You begin to journey on into the northern forest, where there are more hunting opportunities for them than ever before. Next time on Pangea Island, preys on the herd. Goliath the Giganotosaurus now has new problems to face. And the new pair finally find their first meal. Next time on the glorious land of Pangea Island.